Alright, what is up everybody? So whether you're trying to get new units or just evolve them, or maybe even just try and get trait rerolls, raids are probably what you need to farm at some point in Anime Last Stand. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to AFK farm all three of the raids in Anime Last Stand as of the summer update, including Marine Fort, Hell City, and Snowy Capital. I'm going to show you how to do this using only 3 units, and let's get into it. One thing before we get started is you're going to need Tiny Task. I'll have the link in the description, and you're going to want to go to your preferences here and make sure they look like mine. Make sure that always on top is checked, continuous playback is checked, your play speed is on 1x, and recording and playback hotkeys don't really matter, but mine are F8 to start the recording and Ctrl-Shift-Alt-P to start the playback. Once you have Tiny Task here, we're next going to need to worry about our team. So the team is going to be these 3 units. You can have any trait, any skill tree, but it is going to determine what act of the raid you can actually do. So you want to have a pretty strong version of this team. If you're wondering if you can use any other units like Freerin instead of Tatsumaki, maybe try out the units that you have that might be stronger than this. My advice, if you're going to ask what units you can use, is always just try it out and see if it works. But my Garo is going to have the all-seeing trait with a full damage skill tree, and my Tatsumaki is of course glitched. I don't expect you to have that, but she has the range skill tree. And with that team out of the way, let's go and get into the stages. Actually, as always, the macros will be in my Discord. Now I think we've talked about everything, let's go and get into the macros. First we've got Marine Fort, and this is probably going to be the easiest one to record. We're not going to be using Tatsumaki because the hill placements on this map are absolutely awful. If we were to try and place Tatsumaki here, you can barely even get a spot to place her on any of the rooftops. So we're just going to be using Garo and Businessman Yojin, and before we start our recording, we're just going to place down 1 Garo and use them to farm up some cash. And once we get around 2,000 cash, that's when we'll actually start up recording our Tiny Task here. And if you're wondering how I have the 1.5x speed on immediately, I didn't have to click it or anything, there is a setting for that now, auto speed vote. Make sure you have that on to use this macro at the maximum efficiency. But I'm going to go and wait until we have 2,000 cash, and then I'm going to go and start the recording. Once we have about 2,000 cash, I can go and sell my Garo. What we're going to do is start a recording and click where the retry button would be, which is going to be your bottom left leg, by the way. Then you're going to place down a Garo over here. So we're just going to place 1 right here. Actually try multiple times. We're going to place another right here. And then another right here. So we're placing down 3 Garos, and then Yojin. Then we're going to upgrade all of them. There we go, and we can go ahead and save the macro. Now, because I actually kind of sold the Garo and then recorded everything, I'm probably going to fail this stage, but I will show you guys later that the macro does work. I'll be looping this one on Act 6. I'll have later proof in the video of every macro for every raid. Looping, so you guys know I'm not clickbaiting, but that was the first macro recorded. Now we can go ahead and move on. Next we have Hell City, which is actually going to be a little bit harder because we're going to be using Tatsumaki. So we're going to be using Garo, Tatsumaki, and Yojin for this, and the units are going to glitch out a little bit when we first place them. You can see that it's kind of clipping into the rock behind us. That's not going to happen when we actually record the macro because I'm going to take a step back first, but before we record the macro, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to place down a Garo and farm up for 2,000 cash, and then we're going to start recording afterwards. So we'll be back whenever we have 2,000. Okay, I've got about 2,000 cash, and what we're going to do is start our recording, start walking backwards. We're going to click where the retry button would be, and we're going to place down a Garo right here, just where we have one. And then another one right here. And then Yojin. Tatsumaki. Another Tatsumaki. And we're going to upgrade all of them. And then save our macro. I'm going to name that Hell City Raid. Boom. Next we have the Snowy Capital raids, and we're just going to farm up 2,000 cash here. There we go. And I'm going to show you how to record this one. It is going to be the hardest out of all of them, but it's not actually going to be hard. It's just going to be harder than the others. So what we're going to do is first sell our Garo, start recording on our Tiny Task, and we're going to click where the retry button would be, walk to the left, and zoom out with O all at the same time. You should eventually run into this wall. We're going to stop there. We're going to place our Tatsumaki on the right here, all the way on this rock. We're going to place 2 of them. We're going to place our Yojin down right here, and then 2 Garos down right here. Now we're going to upgrade everything. And that's our macro, so I'm going to go ahead and save that. Snowy Capital raid, and we're good to go. With all the macros recorded, I went ahead and saved them, and this is going to be the part of the video, as always, where I show that the macro is a loop, that I'm not clickbaiting. So as for the axe, as I said earlier, it's going to depend on how strong your team is. So I'm going to be doing probably axe 6 on the first two, and then axe 5 on the bottom one. I don't think my team is quite strong enough to handle axe 6 of it, but I'll show you that the macro loops for all three of them. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. That's all for the tutorial portion. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hope to see you in the next one, and have a great day.